You're listening to the Love Over Addiction podcast. Hello, guys. How are you? Usually you can hear birds in my background because I tend to record these while pacing around my backyard. But today you actually might hear the laundry alarm go off because all my kids are home for summer. Some of them are back from college, and I will tell you, I have never done so much laundry in all of my life. And I only have one washer and dryer. So anyways, you will hear me because I am living a real life while I work and write in my office, which is conveniently in my laundry room because that's how much laundry I do. Anyways, I want to talk about, actually, let me start with what I'm going to talk about, but then I want to tell you a quick story because I was really excited to tell you the story. So today's episode, we're going to talk about a question I get a lot, which is how do you get past the constant fear that something bad will happen to your loved one, whether that's death or an overdose, and especially if you ask them to leave. I think that's a really great question. So that's what we're going to talk about today is how to get over our fears of something bad happening. But before I get there, I want to talk about a story that was slightly embarrassing for me. So we have a Container Store. Do you know what that is? It's basically the Mecca. Like, it's what I imagine heaven to be. It's a huge store, kind of like a grocery store. It's massive, and it just is filled with containers, which sounds very dorky when I say it out loud. But I walk in there and I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm in heaven. Okay, so I first went into a Container Store like 10 years ago in Atlanta. And then I didn't go into them again because they are a little on the expensive side. And you can get carried away. I can get carried away. One can get carried away in the Container Store like one does when one is semi-type A. And so I have avoided the Container Store for so many years, but I'm going through a full-on cleaning, organizing house because, as some of you guys know, I live in a 100-year-old house and it is falling apart all around me. And we need to get it remodeled, but we're saving our money to do that for the last couple of years. So while we wait and save, since the house is falling apart around me and I cannot do anything about it, I am actually reaching for control of things that I can control. I don't know how to fix my plumbing, but I do know how to organize a closet like nobody's business. So I'm like, look, I'm going to put a little money aside. I'm going to go to the Container Store. I'm just going to get just a few small items, accoutrements, right? So I pull into the Container Store and I walk in and it was just as fabulous as I remember it to be. It was, and this is even the best part. And please forgive me if I offend anyone for saying this, but I did not bring my children. I had like that slight sliver in the day where nobody was home, which never happens because, as you guys know, I have a full house. And I kind of snuck out and went to the container. This is what I do. This is what I do as a 44-year-old woman. I don't go to parties. I go to the Container Store. That's where I sneak out to. Anyways, I go there without kids, Sam's kids, right? And oh my gosh, I don't know which was more enjoyable more, alone time or the Container Store. Probably both, alone time in the Container Store. So my dopamine is just going through the roof. Like I am walking down the aisles, looking at every single product, checking prices for things I don't even need, or I didn't even understand what they were. And I got to the travel section and I'm like, I'm not going to buy a pillow. I'm not going to do the big expensive items. So I got like little travel bottles. The selection of the like shampoo and cream bottles with labels. Are you joking? I mean, again, dopamine, hit of dopamine. So, I'm going through the aisles alone in heaven. I get to the checkout, and I promise this does have something to do with addiction. I get to the checkout, and there's a guy, a young good-looking guy checking me out. Not checking me out as in that way, because I am not young anymore. You know, when you reach that age, and y'all know if you're in your 40s and 50s, you realize, like, nobody is checking you out anymore. No, anyways, I was at the checkout lane. He's checking my items out. And he says, I'm curious because see, there you go. There's the laundry alerting me. The guy, I'm curious because I'm like, what is this guy doing at a Container Store? I mean, my mind is going, and of course, I'm very inquisitive, and I can do small talk. So I said to him, hey, it's surprising you're working, which sounds terrible. I think I can do small talk. And then it comes out of my mouth and I realize, Michelle, that is not your strength. You're good at deep talk, but not small talk. So I said, hey, what are you doing here? Like I knew him. And he kind of looked at me and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be sexist or anything. It's just that it's surprising that a guy like you would be working at the Container Store. You can break that down. We're not going to go there. Don't park on that. Just go right through it. Just let it go. I understand how that says in today's culture, but just let it go, please. So he looks at me for a hot minute and I think he's debating, is this woman for real or what do I do with this? So he goes, oh, yeah. And I think because I didn't give off a very alarming, I don't know, I obviously wasn't intimidating at all. He was like, oh, yeah, I have OCD. And I was like, really? Wow. You've diagnosed OCD? And of course, this makes me go into, now I'm like, my people. I have found my people. Someone who is willing to just air out all of their stuff right away up front. I love that. That's my favorite type of people. So he said, oh, yeah. I have like legit diagnosed OCD, and this store really helps. And then I thought to myself, I wonder if I have OCD, and that's why I really like this. But I was like, oh, that's great. So have you tried anything that helps you manage it? And he said, well, I don't really enjoy pharmaceuticals. And I was like, oh, really? What is it that makes you, have you tried and do they not make you feel well? And he said, well, I don't like that they're synthetic. I don't like the synthetics in pharmaceuticals. So it's like, oh, okay. I said, have you ever tried have you ever heard of a compounding pharmaceutical? It's a lot more. And from what I gather, again, not a doctor here, disclaimer, did not go to med school. But from what I understand, I used to get my thyroid medication from a compounding place. It's a little bit more natural. I don't do that anymore, but that was sort of the benefit. And he said, oh, yeah, I don't do compounding. I do herbal remedies. And I was like, oh, I love herbal remedies. And in my mind, I'm thinking teas, vitamins. So I was like, I have some great vitamins. If I have some good probiotics, I do matcha tea. And he's looking at me and he's like, I can tell I've said something wrong, but I cannot figure out what it is. And he's looking at me kind of inquisitive. He's like, well, my herbal remedies really help me relax, really help me get into a very zen place. And I was like, woo, that sounds incredible. What is that, like L-glutathione? Like, is that what you're taking? What is the, and right as I'm saying this, I guess there was another man who was working there who had been overhearing our conversation, and he was kind of like hanging out at the cash register, and he came up and interrupted us and asked a question or made a comment. I don't know. Meanwhile, I was like putting my bags in my card and giving him my credit card and signing the check. And so time was up with this new friend of mine. And I said, well, good luck with the herbal remedies. See ya. And I walk out the store. And as I'm walking through the glass door into the parking lot with my cart, I'm thinking, herbal remedies. I wonder what he's taking. Herbal remedies. What have I read about? And then it hits me. He's talking about pot. He's getting high. Michelle, you big dodo, this is what you do for a living, is talk about this. And this man was trying to tell you in a very clear but not so clear way, it was pot. He's smoking pot or whatever, doing gummies or however he's choosing to ingest it. And I thought, oh my gosh, the irony of that. How I probably talk about drugs more than any other person I know in my lifetime. And here's a guy right in front of me at my favorite store telling me he smokes pot or whatever, and I don't pick up on it. Anywho, so I thought you guys would get a kick out of that story. So back to actually this wonderful question, which is, how do you get past the constant fear that something bad will happen to their loved one, especially death or an overdose? Oh my gosh, you guys. Specifically, thank you, if you ask them to leave. Well, actually, I can tie this into the story about the Container Store. I can. Just you watch me. Okay, so what is the main fear you have when loving someone struggling with addiction? The main fear is that something bad is going to happen to you, right? That either something's bad is going to happen to your loved one or something bad is going to happen to you. It's a constant low-grade state of anxiety. You're always waiting. If things are good, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're always waiting for things to turn around and become bad again. If things are bad, you're worried, can they get worse, right? And then when they do get worse, you're like, wait a second. I didn't think they could get worse, but this is really, really bad. So it's the fear of the unknown, the fear of the possibilities. And you all are smart people, and you've seen how addiction can take down really, really, really good people. You've seen movies or TV shows. You've heard stories from friends about how addiction has taken the lives of so many good people. And there is a part of you that really wonders, could that possibly happen to my loved one? How long do we have until, this happens? So there's a low-grade fear and low-grade anxiety that truly never quite goes away. And so it's normal to live in a constant state of fear. And when you think about life without your loved one, if you dare to think about that, because some of us, that's really, really hard, right? Some of us have been so ingrained and infatuated and tangled up with the idea of never leaving our loved one that we can't even imagine a life outside of living with them and loving them. Like, sometimes I say to people, especially in the first program, Love Over Addiction, one of the exercises is to decide what you want. So we say, like, okay, where do you want to live? What state? What city? Do you want to live in a house, a condo, an apartment? Where do you want your kids to go to school? Public, private? Do you want to homeschool? When you think about your income, when you think about your extracurricular activities, when you think about your lifestyle. And for some people, that idea is so paralyzing. Like, you can't even get clear on that because it's the fear of not thinking that your loved one will be with you for the rest of your life is almost debilitating, right? And so the thing is, how do you conquer fear? How do you get confident about yourself and your future? Well, I know how not to do it and how not to get confident, how to continue to lose your self-esteem, how to continue to progress down the path of anxiety and fear and depression is by constantly turning to your loved one and waiting for them to get sober. That's how you continue down a bad path, is you put all of your hopes and all of your dreams around the idea that they get sober. Because the truth is, you actually don't know if they're going to get sober or not. Now, I know that is a very hard statement to tell you. And I know you want to stop this right now. And I know part of you does not like me for saying that. But here's the truth. Okay, let's just say that they do get sober. Let's think of that as a special bonus. But let's set our expectations correctly. Let's get educated about the statistics of long-term sobriety. They're not looking good, all right? They're way less than 50%. So let's just base your life moving forward on the idea that they're not going to get sober, okay? The good news is that you can still have a wonderful life. You can still be happy. You can still have most of your dreams come true. You can still live an incredibly fulfilling life. Your future does not reside on them getting sober. That's why we say you are not powerless over this disease. One of the ways you take your power back is by refusing to keep your life on hold until they get sober. It's the way you deal with fear, constant anxiety, is you stop with the fantasy of them getting sober and you start moving on with your life as you would like to live it. You stop thinking about, what do they want from me? How can I make them happy? What can I do today that would help get them sober? How can I not make them mad? What can I do to support them? These are all very unhealthy thoughts because you're living your life for somebody else. And you're living your life for somebody else who is not living their life for you. If they were living their life considering your feelings and your future and your thoughts, they would be dedicating themselves to sobriety. They would not continue to stay addicted, right? They would get help. They would commit to sobriety. People do it. It does happen. And they would be one of those people. But right now, for whatever reason, and I'm not going to get into the science of it or the psychology of it, they're not. So the way that you get away from fear and the way that you get away from anxiety is you take your power back and you say, okay, that's it. Today is the day I'm going to stop waiting around for them to get sober to start to feel better. I'm going to take back my power and I'm going to control what I can control. Because guess what? When that whole expression in Al-Anon or AA where they say, let go and let God, I don't know this for sure, but this is the way I apply it to my life. I let go of the idea that I will be happy when they get sober. But I absolutely also claim my power and control over my own life. I let go of their future and their life. I let go of their choices. I let go of monitoring their drinking or drug use. I let go of trying to convince them to go to rehab. I let go of being the hall monitor or the mother. I let go of taking care of them, and I start taking care of myself. I stand on my own 2 feet on solid ground and say, I am not going to let go of myself anymore. Because I have let go of my looks. I have let go of my health. I have let go of all of my hobbies. I've let go of my friendships. I've let go of all of my interests. I even let go of my ambition in work. And those are things I do not want to let go. Those are things I want to reclaim. So check yourself. Go, am I letting go of the right things? Am I claiming the right things? And I promise you, if you learn to stay in your own lane, and you learn to stand on your own ground, and you learn to keep a quiet mouth and not be the hall monitor, the one trying to control them, and you learn how to control yourself, your anxiety will dissipate, because it will finally click that you have absolute control. Your life's not out of control, but let's go back to controlling what we know we can, which is our choices, our health. My house is 100 years old, like I said. It's falling apart. I can't control that, and I can't afford right now to fix it. But what I can control is I can go to the Container Store and buy little travel things and put them under my little counter, and that makes me feel better. That is something I can control. See, I told you that I'd bring it back around to the Container Store. Do you see? I can relate anything back to addiction, you guys. I've been doing this so long. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I think you do. I think you really get it. Now listen, I'm not telling you it's easy. I'm not. I would never degrade you like that. I would never, ever in a million years say this is just so simple in 4 steps. You can be a new woman. No, that's not true. You're going to stumble on this. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall down. That is okay. All right. I don't know anybody who does it perfect all the time, particularly not me. I make so many mistakes every single day. But what I'm trying to teach you is really great life tools, because you can not only apply them to the person you love, you can apply them to your children, you can apply them to your parents, you can apply them to your boss. Learning to let go of what is not yours to hold on to, and learning to hold tight and stay in your power for things that are, is what, and knowing the difference, right? It's taking self-inventory and going, I am not going to buy into the narrative that this disease tries to make me believe that I am helpless. I'm going to reject that narrative. And instead, I am going to rise. I am going to stay in my own power. I am going to choose to take control over my mind and my thoughts and my heart and my life. And I'm going to choose to believe something different, which is I came into this relationship a pretty courageous person. I'm actually quite brave, and I have a lot to offer to myself and to this world. And so I'm going to choose to believe that. So, what in your life do you need to take control over today? What have you chosen to let go that you shouldn't have? What do you need to reclaim? Do you have healthy friendships in your life? You have a good group of friends that you can turn to and go have fun with? Do you have good health? Are you really taking care of your physical body, what you put into it, how much you move it? What about your mental health? Do you need to find a therapist just for you, not to drag your loved one to, just for you? Are you making regular scheduled appointments? Are you opening up to that person and being honest? Do you have the willingness to walk away if they're not helpful, to find somebody else? What about your physical location? Is this really where you want to live? Are you really doing the thing that you love to do? Maybe you're scared. Maybe you have a dream that you want to do a different career, or you want to go back to school, or you want to start something new. How far along are you on that journey? Are you making a commitment to yourself that you're going to follow through with that? Do you have a long-term and short-term plan? How are your relationships with your children? Are there some conversations, honest conversations, that you need to have with them about what's going on in your home? Do they have an opinion about you that you need to correct? Do you need to circle back around and have some difficult conversations with them about the choices they're making and hold them more accountable? Take self-inventory of what you can control and let go of all the rest, because all the rest is exhausting and a massive waste of time. The reason why it's exhausting is because it's like, I live in Florida, and there's or there used to be a racetrack near where I live, where it was like a Greyhound racetrack. Of course, I've never gone to that, and I never would. But there's I guess these Greyhound dogs, I think they're called Greyhounds, aren't they? Yeah, I think they are. They chase the squirrel, right, around the track, but they never capture the squirrel. You are a Greyhound, and the squirrel is your loved one and addiction. And you're just going around and around the track, exhausting yourself on this never-ending circle that will get you nowhere except hurt, physically, emotionally hurt, exhausted. Nothing is gained from it, right? Nothing is accomplished. Addiction becomes richer, and you become broke and tired. So if you are the Greyhound, and let's just say hypothetically, you have control over yourself, which obviously they don't, but you are. This is a hypothetical. I can make whatever up that I want to. You need to remove yourself from the race. You need to stop chasing that squirrel. All right? You need to go find a cozy little spot and a safe home to live where you are loved and you are cherished and you are not asked to run in circles that will result in a very unhealthy state of mind and state of being. So what are you going to do? Make a list. You guys know. You're like, Michelle, if you tell me to make one more list. I'm telling you. Make a list. Make a list of all the things that you're trying to control that you have no control over, and make a list of things that you can control. And if you want an example, you guys can always go to the website and we give you free handouts. You go to loveoveraddiction.com and you enter your email, and we will give you already a list of examples and what we're asking you to do. It's completely free. It's totally an exercise. And because you've got to get clear. This is all theoretical unless you put it into practice. I'm not asking you to do it right away, all of it, but just putting pen to paper and taking a moment to think about it is half the work, because it's in your conscience. It moves from your subconscious to your conscience, and then all of a sudden it becomes easier to put into action, and it becomes easier to identify. I guarantee you, if you take a moment to write down what you're holding on to very firmly that you need to let go of, the next time you go to hold on to it, you're going to think, oh, that's right. I wrote that down. I shouldn't be holding on to it. I'm going to let that go. And there you go. There's your change, right? It's not easy. Writing this stuff down takes real honesty, and it takes time, which I know a lot of us don't have. But I promise you, if you're willing to be honest with yourself and you're willing to take the time, things will change. And that low-grade fear and anxiety will turn into power, empowerment, which is an amazing feeling. And I know you guys have felt that way before. Okay, that is it for today. I just want to say another thing really quickly. Thank you so much for the reviews of the podcast. We shared another one today in our group chat, my team, and this one was from a Canadian listener. And you guys know I'm Canadian, so that was a little special to me. But she mentioned, my only beef with Michelle is that she apologizes for talking too much. And I do receive that feedback from you guys where you're like, tell Michelle, stop apologizing. Here's the deal. I am Canadian. And if you go to Canada, they have this very famous store in Canada called Roots. If you like cotton and you like t-shirts and sweatshirts, and this is not, I promise you, this is not an ad. I don't do ads on this podcast. Like really warm cottony stuff. This is the store. It has the best sweatpants you've ever had tried on. And I remember going into their store one time and they had a you can only get them. Actually, they do have some American stores, but they're Canadian based. And they had a t-shirt that said, I'm sorry on it, and a little Canadian, little maple leaf. And I was like, oh my gosh, people have always had a problem with how much I apologize. I didn't realize it was a Canadian thing. But apparently, you guys, it is a cultural thing where Canadians apologize a lot. So am I apologizing for apologizing? Perhaps. But that is where it comes from. So maybe you understand. But thank you. Thank you so much for all of the positive. You're encouraging me, which helps me encourage you. So I really, really appreciate that. All right, I'll talk to you guys next week. This podcast is created for your support, encouragement, and entertainment with my personal thoughts and beliefs. We are bonded together by the fact that we love someone suffering from addiction. This is not intended as a substitute for therapy or advice from a professional.